Enterprise Stories is a weekly radio program that shares the experiences of successful Nigerian entrepreneurs and provides expert analysis of their success factors. Enterprise Stories, business stories of success.
Good day and welcome to another exciting episode of Enterprise Stories. My name is Olawale Anifurowoshe and I remain your presenter for the program. Today we have a wonderful lineup for you. To start the program, we have our lecture series and we have Mr. Bayo Rotimi, who will be talking about finance and finance options. Our story of the day segment, we have a female entrepreneur with the difference, and she will be sharing a story with us on how she was able to use a very small amount of money to start a business that is doing over 25 million naira today. And in the expert analysis segment, we will have our expert that will come and analyze the story of the day. To start the program, we are starting with the teaching segment, and in the studio with us is Mr. Bayo Rotimi, the CEO of Quest Advisory Services Limited, and a strategy and finance expert. Today, Mr. Rotimi will be teaching us about finance and finance options.
Thank you, Wale. Good day, listeners. Most businesses, if you ask them what their principal challenge is, they will definitely tell you it's finance or access to finance. And I think it is a subject that we need to spend a bit of time understanding so that it will help aspiring entrepreneurs find the right kind of capital for their business. People who are already running their businesses can also ensure that they have the right combination of financial resources to give them the best results. I'll try to run through them as quickly and as clearly as possible. For most businesses, there are two principal sources of raising finance. The first one will be something we call equity, which is really the owner's contribution, the contribution of the initial shareholders of the business. There is something else we call debt. Then there is also what we call a hybrid, which has the attributes of both equity and debt financing. Now let's talk about equity fairly quickly. There are a number of sources of equity financing. The very, very first one will have to be your own savings as the promoter, as the visionary, as the entrepreneur. You must be willing to commit your own resources to your business before you can encourage third parties to also take a chance on your vision as well as your dream. So your own savings, you must put some things on the table. Thereafter, the next set of people who are closest to you and who are also willing to take some kind of a chance on you will probably be your family and your friends. These are people that will give you financial resources just to support your dream and to give you a bit of an encouragement. Next, we have a class of investors called the angel investors. Again, these are people who have probably made a lot of money and have decided that as part of their social responsibility, they will support and uplift aspiring entrepreneurs. So this type of people will make cash available to you on terms that are a lot friendlier than what you will typically get from financial institutions. Now, they will only invest in businesses that have proper structures, only invest in businesses that have a clear story and a clear what you may call value addition or value proposition. Thereafter, you start to move towards more hard-nosed investors. Now you are looking at private equity investors, you are looking at venture capitalists. Now this group of investors are really and truly looking for businesses that are extremely viable. So they want to make sure that you have done your homework. In this regard, you must have prepared a very, very detailed business plan which shows to everybody the opportunity opportunities inherent in your business. So the private equity or the venture capitalists are people that invest equity in your business, and they will give you that stable source of capital for a period of 5 to 7 years or thereabouts. Finally, at some point in time, when you have built your business to a particular level, you can then invite members of the general investing public to come and partake in your dream. Over the last 20 years or so, we have seen several companies that started very little inside of Nigeria getting to the point where they are offering their securities to the general investing public, and that is also something that is achievable for every focused business. Okay, so that's equity. I'll run through the other two very quickly. Debt is largely available from your commercial banks as well as specialist financial institutions. Essentially, these two categories also want to make sure your business has one thing: it has good cash flows, i.e. you are selling and people are buying what it is you are offering, and you have the capacity to service your debt. So in summary, the key critical success factors are: number one, you must have a plan; number two, you must know your market; number three, you must have required capacity; number four, you must have a strong business case. If you have this four, you will definitely be attractive to both equity and debt providers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rotimi, for exposing our listeners to the options of funding available. Next with us in the studio is a female entrepreneur with a difference, Nora Azuibuike of Interiors by Nora. You're welcome.
Thank
Nora,
you very much.
please introduce yourself to us and tell us a bit about Interiors by Nora. I'm actually very interested as to how you came about the name.
My name is Nora Azuibuike of Interiors by Nora Limited. And Interiors by Nora is a design, planning and consulting company specialized in themed interior designs for corporate and residential clients. The name came about when I had the hunger to design homes and have people come in and be in awe of it and ask who did it. I just wanted to leave my signature for every interior space that I designed. So that's how the name originated.
Fantastic. So tell us your story. How did you come about starting this business, and when did you start this business?
Interiors by Nora started in 2004. The dream started in 2004. And that was my final and extra year in school. It was towards graduation, and I was bored of accounting. I knew I wasn't going to practice accounting. Then I came across an article in the newspaper that had one of the interior design companies winning an award, and I said, oh, so the interior design practice is now being recognized in Nigeria, and I had hope. But that's not where I started, really. Out of boredom one day, I started painting a glass jar, a jam jar. I took my Tipex, white Tipex, and I made some impression on the glass. And over time, I got bored with that, and I decided to improve on it. So I put some pebbles in it, and I just put it in a corner in my space in school. And one day, some roommate of mine said, oh, this is actually nice. Do you know that you can do more with it? And I said, oh, yeah, okay. So I got the local women who clean the hostels to get me jam jars, like a couple of them. And then I primed them, I cleaned them, and I paid them for that. It was just about 20 naira or thereabouts. And I designed with this. I went for that. I started using the nail polish because I wanted other colors in it, not just white. So I used the nail polish. And then I put... And
you're using different colors of nail polish?
Yes, different colors of nail polish. And I was making impressions on them. And then I put potpourri now, so that it was not just a decorative piece, it was also a functional piece because it served as a container for your potpourri. So I just had it as the piece of item I designed. And my roommate said to me, you could sell this, you know. And I said, who's going to buy this? She said, try. And when I said, I'll buy one from you, and she bought one. And then she started...
How much did you sell the first one?
700 naira.
Oh, so that was your first real cash that you made?
Yes, that was my first real cash. But it became discouraging when I tried to show somebody someday. And she said, why is she going to buy this for 700 naira? It's just a piece of jam bottle and pebbles. And it felt like... It didn't feel sophisticated enough. And I was discouraged. But I said... you know what? Yes, it's just a jam bottle, but nobody would have thought of doing this. Now you're not seeing a jam bottle, you're seeing a decorative piece. And she said, oh, you know, that's brilliant. And then she bought it. So that's where it started from. I started making more. But I didn't have enough money, or it wasn't really like something I set out to do, but I saw that it was a viable business. So I had some 5,000 naira that a friend had given to me to buy a baking book in Lagos for her. And I went to the store, it wasn't available. So I said, the book is not available. They said they'll bring it in 2 months' time. So, okay, hold the money. So while the money was in my case, I said, why am I keeping this money? I can actually use it to make more bottles of decorative pieces and multiply the money. So that was what I did. Oceanic Bank came to school then, and I went and put this money in the accounts, or opened an account, and then used the 5,000 naira to get more materials. I actually got ribbons to tape the edges, so it wasn't quite noticeable that they were jam bottles. And I did quite a number of pieces, and people kept on encouraging me. So I sold all of that, and I was able to replace the 5,000 naira, which was borrowed, by the time she asked for it. So I even had almost 10,000 naira of that. But I didn't stop there. I went on to do other decorative pieces like throw pillows. I would do buttons and all of that. So that's where it started. So my creative juices started coming out that way.
So at what point did you then decide that I need to register this business and then go to the next level? At what point? And of course, you did the entrepreneurial management program as well,
yes,
some time back. So at what point did you reach that platform where you just took off and started this as a registered business fully?
Okay. First of all, I knew right after I started this business that I wasn't going to be sourcing for a banking job after school. So I took this jam jar to an old friend of mine who used to encourage me because I studied accounting, and he always said, you need to register with ICANN so that you can start your professional exams. So I took it to him one day and I said, you see what I'm up to now, and I think this is something. And he was really impressed with it. And he said to me, you know what, I envy you. And I'm like, this is someone who has achieved quite a bit. I don't even have a steady income and you envy me. So I knew there was something in me that I had to give to the world. So at that point, I knew that I had to pursue this. And so that's how I started from there and took it.
So you registered the business right there immediately?
Yes, because I had like those people carry me forward. They said this is a good path to follow. You need to register your business as a business name to start with, so that whatever you're doing, you need to start having a record of it. So it was really a business name in 2004. Okay. By December 2004, it was just a business name. But I made sure that all the proceeds I got from the business, I could return it back. Because I had an accounting background, so it was really easy to know my cost of production.
So where did you source the funding, the finance that you used to actually start this from? Because it seems like the first real money that you used to start business was the 5,000 naira your friend gave to you.
Yes.
But from there, how were you able to raise money to pay for your office, to buy the materials that you... Because, you're doing so much now. So can you tell us some of those things that you did to raise capital to be able to, move the business to a different level?
To be honest, if I sat down and waited for a huge capital, I wouldn't have been where I am today. I started with what I had, which was little, but I made sure I tried to multiply it, which is for every 5,000 naira sitting in my account, I want to see it turn to 10,000 naira. So I reduced expenses, unnecessary expenses, wherever I could cut my overheads. I did that. And then businesses came from family and friends who would usually make a deposit. So that should cover my cost of production and then some of what I already had to be able to deliver the business or the job to the clients, and then I get paid. And from that payment, I'm able to save some and use some to still continue sourcing new businesses. So until the challenge of expanding the business came, we never had the real need to source a huge capital, to run the business. Okay. The business kind of ran for itself because clients were required.
Okay, so up to now, you've never had any reason to actually go to any financial institutions to lend money?
I've definitely had reason to go to source for money, but unfortunately, I am very loan shy. But the Nigerian environment is going to be very difficult to expand without borrowing money. So yes, I am faced with that challenge because there's so many things I want to do, but I don't have the avenue to access this funds for now without the huge demands that they make.
Yes, but right now, how's your business? What's your staff strength? What's your business like? The
business is actually doing good. I I wouldn't say I'm not where I want to be. I just know that I could be doing more. My staff strength is about 4 people, and that's because I have a different model. I'm a design company, so I just build furniture. I have artisans, contract staff who work with us per project. So that way, I've cut the overhead, so I concentrate on my staff.
Okay. Nora, so tell us, what's that first job that you got that made you realize that, yes, I'm into this business now, and you, from there, no going back?
Okay, the first job that got me that affirmed my decision to do what I was doing was after I left, just before I left paid employment. And I had people calling me to say, come and do this, come and do that. And I took the bold step and I left. And the first job I took was almost 5 million naira.
Wow.
Yes, and the clients paid 80% of that. So I didn't even need capital to do it.
And this was interior work for?
Yes, this was interior work
an
for.
office space? Or?
It was an office space.
Okay.
And right after, in fact, in 1 week I had 4 briefs. And that affirmed my decision that I was definitely in the right business.
Thank you so much, Nora, for sharing your story with us today. I'm sure that your story is going to inspire a lot of young people that are still in school and are using their money to buy a recharge card. To share his expert analysis with us today is Mr. Bayo Rotimi.
Thank you, Wale. It was interesting listening to Nora earlier on. She started her business, I think, the way a lot of other businesses have done theirs over time. She embarked on what I call a journey of self-discovery. This is when you take a hobby, an interest, a skill, a talent, and somehow by accident or design, this now translates or is translated into a viable business. I think one of the things I picked up very quickly from her was that she recognized very early in the life of her business that there was a need to build capacity. Now, when you are running a business, you need to ensure that you have the proper type of structures in place. So fairly quickly she got her business registered. And this may seem like a simple thing, but there are a lot of businesses in Nigeria today that have been running for in excess of 5 or 10 years that have still not gotten proper legal registration. For you to be taken seriously, for you to be able to access financing of any sort, you need to ensure that your company is properly registered at the Register of Companies. So that is one interesting thing that she has done. Secondly, she recognizes that there is a need to keep her costs very low. And ultimately, one critical way through which small businesses can fund their operations is to get customers to make deposits, right? Once customers see value in what you are offering, then they are likely or more likely to be inclined to make a deposit, which the entrepreneur can then use as a major source of working capital. Now, that will only continue for a while. When your business is built up to a particular level, then you really need to explore alternative sources of financing. And like I mentioned earlier, there are multiple sources, and once the business is appropriately structured, it then is able to access those type of financing options. Another thing that struck me when Nora was making her presentation was that she developed her own unique operating model, which means that you as an entrepreneur, first thing is understand your business, understand the dynamics of your own business, and find out what it is that works for you. She decided that she was going to take advantage of the benefits of outsourcing. Now, if you can find people who can deliver your product or your service to the quality that you require and at the right price, it then becomes advantageous for you to take advantage of those kind of arrangements. So what she has been able to do, therefore, is to concentrate her energies on her area of core competence, which is really designing. And I recommend this to a lot of businesses. Find out what other people can do better than you and can do at a price that is extremely competitive. If you find that kind of arrangement, please embrace outsourcing, because it is a viable tool, especially for growing businesses. Now, I'd like to just share a few other tips just before I round up. I think it is critical for every business to find skilled, committed staff. I know that finding good staff is a challenge for most businesses today, but I think that it is a continuous process. You need to invest in your own staff, so you are not likely to find a complete article anywhere. Just find somebody that has the basic ingredients you can work with, and then build some capacity around that person so that the person can then be able to deliver that which you want. Secondly, and again for a business like Nora's, it is important to look at other models from other parts of the world. The interesting thing about running businesses is you do not need to reinvent the wheel. There are successful furniture companies all over the world. Let us research, let us understand their operating model. How did they do it? How have they remained in business for over 100 years? And take a leaf from those companies and bring it here. I think potentially she has the capacity to run a really big business in Nigeria, because one thing about Nigeria is that it's a huge market. So if she puts the right structures in place, she can then access finance and then take this business all over Africa. Thank you, Wale.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rotimi, for this very, very useful analysis. And from the analysis that you've given today, it's very obvious that funding is really not the greatest challenge that most businesses have. Absolutely. And HR human resource could easily be the one of the issues that most small businesses face today, over funding. Absolutely. Even though funding is also a critical thing. We've come to the end of the program today, and I hope that you've enjoyed listening to us. Stay tuned for another exciting episode next week. Until then, have a lovely day. For comments and questions, please email enterprisestories@pau.edu.ng. Or to listen to this episode again, log on to classic97.net.